So welcome to our Monday evening practice. Thank you to those watching live and maybe those watching on a recording a little bit later. We're working with the theme of the goddess this evening, the goddess. And we're going to start sitting, hands together in Kali Mudra, first fingers pointing up to the sky, the thumbs are interlaced, so you can just pop one thumb on top of the other, first finger together. This mudra is going to sit just around the center of the chest. We're going to begin here. Shoulders nice and relaxed, head and neck just nice and long, so lengthen through the spine. And with the hands clasped together and the first fingers pointing up to the sky, just take a moment to let the eyes close and simply allow your thoughts to come inwards. So whatever kind of day you've had, if your thoughts are being pulled elsewhere, let yourself just begin by arriving here this evening. And we're taking a moment to really draw in all of our feminine energy. So that's our strength, our power, our confidence in towards the center of the chest. And in this shape, in this sitting pose, with your hands together, perhaps just take a moment to reflect on your strengths. How you're feeling in terms of strength this evening as we begin a new month. And perhaps any energy that you're feeling this evening, that doesn't necessarily need to be strong, but just any particular energy that you're feeling this evening. It may be worry, it may be stress, it may be excitement, any kind of energy. Just allow that to come really in towards your mind. Notice how you're feeling within your energy this evening. And with the gaze soft or the eyes closed, we'll start to work with our breath here. So if you're happy with the hands as they are in this Kali Mudra, keep the hands exactly where they are, or release the hands if that feels better for you. And just come and take a moment to breathe easy. We're going to draw a breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Draw a breath in through the nose. Sigh the breath out through the mouth. And as we do this, start to think about clearing maybe any negative energy with each breath you take. So that sense of strength as we breathe in through nose. And then any kind of hesitation, doubt at all, breathe it out. Sigh it out. We'll take one more just like this. Breathing in. And then breathing out. And breathe nice and easy here. Come and open the eyes. We're going to come back to that mudra. So if you have your hands relaxed, draw the palms together, first fingers up to the sky. Take a breath in and reach that fingertip up towards the sky. Just take a moment to look up here, pausing. And then on your exhale, draw it back in towards you. We're going to take 3 just like this. So as you go, see if you can look towards that first finger. Take a breath in, point all the way up to the sky. And then draw the breath out, draw the hands in towards the chest. Lovely. We'll start with that sense of strength, but also that sense of focus. So take your gaze up towards the sky and focus in towards your first finger. And then draw your gaze just back in towards you, back to the center of the chest. We're going to point that first finger out, almost like that little Charlie's Angels sort of gun-like shape. And then take a little twist over to the right. Keep your gaze over towards the right as you go, looking towards your right fingers or your fingers on the right-hand side. And then over towards the left, just taking a little moment to twist over to the left. And then come and do the same again. Your options here, keep the arms out or bend the elbows, whatever feels comfortable. You may find you can twist a little bit deeper by bending the elbows. And we'll twist one more, both sides, over to the right, over to the left. Hands just tucked in or elbows outstretched. And then coming back to center, release the hands completely. Just take a little roll with the shoulders. If you want to move the legs now, 2 options. Either just recross the legs if you're getting a little bit stiff on the legs, or if you're happy on the knees, feel free to come straight onto the knees into a hero pose. We're going to do a few more things in sitting, so just feel free to sit in any way that feels comfortable. Working with cactus arms, lengthen through the fingertips, allow the elbows to come in line with the shoulders and come and cactus the arms here. We're going to draw the elbows, wrists and hands together and drop the chin to the chest. So allow a little bit of a wave through the arms as you do this. Squeeze the shoulder blades together and open up through the center of the chest. So our poses this evening are quite strong poses. We're thinking about feeling really open through the chest here, allowing ourselves just to really arrive, present ourselves with strength, moving away from the idea of just shying away or feeling like you can't be heard. So really nice and open with our arm movements, open with our chest as we're here. And at the end of the next one, just start to draw the elbows apart, squeeze the shoulder blades together, pause here. Any issues with the shoulders, you might want to just drop the elbows down a little bit so we take the pressure away. If you're happy with the shoulders, stay here. And all you're going to do is breathe. Take a few breaths in and out, just working to find a little bit of fire in those muscles, top of the shoulders, back of the shoulders, even just being here for a few moments, I tend to feel it in those shoulders. And then when you're ready, come and turn the palms so that they're down to the floor and you're pointing the fingertips down. We're going to do the same. We're rotating downwards here. And again, just a couple of breaths. So this is our cactus arms position. Again, feel free to drop the shoulders down, but think about a nice strong pose with those arms, fingertips down. One more breath in and out here. Okay, and then release the shoulders, give them a little wave, maybe a little hug onto the shoulders or a little rub. Nice. When you're ready, come into a tabletop position. Hands pressed down, knees pressed down. Let's begin to work into the hips. So give the hips a little move from side to side here. Any wrist issues, feel free to make a fist instead, but give the hips a little wave. We'll circle the hips around now. So starting to create some circles through the hips, circling around to the right, circling around to the left. Invite in some just movement that feels natural this evening. Perhaps you can go forwards and backwards. Don't worry too much about what it looks like. Just start to feel into the movement and notice what the toes want to do. Toes under. We can do the same with the toes curled under to find a little bit more of a stretch on the feet as we go. Or maybe the toes just nice and soft. Lovely. And then start to make the movements a little bit bigger. So if you've drawn small circles, really think about the biggest circle that you can start to make with the hips. And if you can go a bit wider on the shoulders, take your hands slightly wider than shoulder distance so that when you're circling and moving with the hips, you're also just working into the shoulders a little bit more. So create some bigger movements here. Again, forwards and backwards, maybe leaning all the way forwards. If your shoulders are happy, you can start to just take a bit more weight through the shoulders, like a little mini press up position. And again, if any of that feels too much, feel free just to come back to center, taking the weight off your shoulders. Lovely. Okay, cat-cow from here. So press the hands under shoulders, knees under hips, drop the chin to the chest, round the back, and start to think about pushing the floor away from you. Soften the belly, soften the elbows, lift the head and neck, take a little arch through the back. Once you've arched here, give yourself a little wave with the hips side to side. Drop the chin to the chest, round the back. Again, in this little C shape with the spine, see if you can give the hips a little wave as well. Nice. And we'll do one more each direction. So each wave that we do, give the hips a little wave. So drop the belly down and then give the hips a little wave. And then curl them around the spine. Tuck the belly in and then just give the hips a little wave. Nice. When you're ready, press the hands out in front of you. Draw the big toes together. We're going to lean backwards into that child's pose, softening through the head and the neck, soften the shoulders. And take a moment just to bring those palms down towards it. So sink and soften down. Let's come back to our breath here. Just taking a moment to breathe in through the center of the chest, in through the belly. In through the center of the chest and in through the belly. So we're doing belly and chest, chest and belly. Each breath that you take, think about moving through both of those parts. Okay, and you might want to take this opportunity just to set a little intention for yourself, either for this week or perhaps for April. If there's anything that you feel like you need to draw in, That may be something around that theme of power or strength, energy. Anything that may come natural to you. And if there isn't anything, then do not worry. You might find a little bit of inspiration as we move through our practice, maybe at the end. So no need to force it at all. Okay, at the end of the next breath, let's come and press our hands just underneath our shoulders, knees underneath the hips. We're going to come into downward facing dog. So curl the toes under, lift up through the hips and start to wave through the spine, just giving the knees a little bend. And we'll give that tail a little shake, so a little wave with the hips from side to side once we're here. Nice, okay. Step your right foot straight away between your hands. Bend into your right knee. We're going to come all the way into a standing warrior one. So reach the arms into the air, lengthen through the spine, and press your left toes down to the earth. Now, once we've arrived here, we're going to take that Kali Mudra. So palms together, first fingers pointing up to the sky. Come back to that little mudra with the arms. Lovely. Reach the hands behind you. Same thing again. Interlace the fingers. Kali Mudra. First fingers pointing down and squeeze the shoulder blades together. So we're in a little variation of reverse warrior here, opening up through the chest. Press your hands to frame your right leg. Soften your left knee. Right leg, yep, soften your left knee. And then start to rock forwards and backwards just through your right foot. So we'll lengthen through that right leg. As I said, we're doing quite a strong flow this evening. You will be rewarded with a little relaxation, but it is going to be quite a strong, energetic flow. So if at any point you need to back off, do feel free. We are going to keep moving. So from here, come and press your right foot down to the floor. Step your left foot to meet the right. Come all the way to the top of the mat. Bend the knees. Reach the arms into the air. Take a nice deep breath in. And on your exhale, open the arms wide. Come and draw the palms together. Kali Mudra. First fingers up to the sky, center of the chest. Lovely. Take a moment to soften into the knees. Step back now with your right foot, bend your left knee. We're going to come back into that warrior one, Kali Mudra with the arms. So reach the arms into the air. Strong with the feet here. Press your right foot down to the earth. Bend your left knee. Take a breath in. Take a breath out. Release the hands. Interlace the hands now behind you. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. And think about pushing those first fingers down towards the earth. So we're opening up through the front of the chest here. Shoulder blades squeezing together. Take a breath in. And breathe out. Press your hands to frame your left foot, soften your right knee, uncurl your right toes, take a few of those rocks forwards and backwards, lengthening through your left leg, just starting to work into that left hamstring, just releasing into the back of the left leg. End of the next one. Step your right foot to meet the left, come all the way into standing, top of the mat, unravel through the spine, sweep the arms into the air, take a deep breath in. On your exhale, forward fold, bend the knees, plant the hands down to the floor, forward fold here, take a step back, downward facing dog. So lift the hips up to the sky, take the feet to the back of the mat and bend your knees. So bend one knee, bend the other, release through the back of the legs. Lovely. Okay, three-legged dog. We're going to keep moving. Right leg comes into the air. Point your right toes all the way into the sky and press your left heel down to the earth. Step your right foot forwards, all the way back. Warrior one, standing. Reach the arms into the air. First fingers up to the sky, Kali Mudra. So same mudra, palms together, first fingers up to the sky. Warrior one. Breathe in, breathe out. Variation on our reverse warrior. Interlace the hands behind you. Point first fingers down, squeeze the shoulder blades together, open up through the front of the chest. Find that strength here. Nice. When you're ready from here, press the hands to frame your right foot. This time soften your left knee down, uncurl your left toes, and start to guide your right leg all the way behind you. Lion tabletop. So send your right leg to the back of the mat. We're going to lift that right leg into the air, taking some pulses with the right leg. Right toes point down towards the earth. Hug the tummy in. Stay strong through the center of the body. 5 little pulses here. Work into the back of the right leg. And once you've done 5, feed the right foot forward, step it forwards, low warrior pose, Kali Mudra with the arms. Low warrior, Kali Mudra with the arms. Take a moment again to arrive. Pause, breathe, stay strong. Find your focus, send your gaze to the top of the mat. Release the hands, Kali Mudra behind you, interlace the fingers, point first finger down, squeeze the shoulder blades together, open up through the front of the chest. Nice, lovely. Press the hands to frame your right foot, guide right knee underneath right hip, come back into tabletop position. Two options, child's pose, or come to the back of the mat, wide-legged hero pose, just taking a moment to come off the knees if that feels better for you. Wherever you are, just take a few moments to breathe. Find that focus again. Perhaps even connecting to that point between the center of the eyebrows, that third eye. Breathing in through the chest, belly, belly, chest. So we're going to repeat that little sequence again. Starting in that tabletop position. Press the hands down, come to the center of the mat, knees underneath the hips. Curl the toes under, lift the hips high up to the sky, and take a walk out here to start with. Bend one knee, bend the other, lengthen through the arms, keep the hips nice and high, press the heels down to the earth. Lift your left leg into the air, three-legged dog from here, point your left toes up towards the sky, and press your right heel down. Take a step forwards, left foot between the hands, Warrior one, Kali Mudra, palms together, first fingers up to sky. Find that strength, that inner warrior, press down towards the earth. See if you can sink a little deeper, bending into that left knee. Release the hands, draw them behind you now, squeeze those shoulder blades together, pointing those first fingers down, we open up through the center of the chest. Keep breathing, stay strong. Press the hands to frame your left foot, soften your right knee, uncurl your right toes and feed your left leg all the way behind you to the back of the mat. 5 pulses once you're here, flying tabletop. Point the toes down towards earth, hug the tummy in, stay nice and strong through the back. So try not to arch the back here. Use those tummy muscles just to support you. And really slow the lifts down. You'll feel it a little bit more through the glutes just by going nice and slowly. Keep the knee straight. As soon as you bend your knee, you're going to take away all that nice work into the glutes. So keep your leg nice and straight. And then we're feeding it forward. Step your left foot between the hands. Low warrior one, this time with the arms back in that Kali Mudra. First fingers up to the sky. Strong, strong, strong. Breathe easy. Look to the top of the mat, find that focus. Release the hands behind you, squeeze the shoulder blades together, open up through the center of the chest, point that first finger down to the earth. Press the hands to frame your left foot, guide your left knee underneath your left hip. 2 options, back into your child's pose, or take a downward facing dog to release the back of the legs. Whatever you want to do, whatever the body is calling for now. Down dog, little release back of the legs, or tabletop and into child's pose. Wherever you are from here, soften the knees down. We're going to meet in that tabletop position just to circle into the hip. So lift your right knee away from the floor, circle into your right hip, take a few little hip circles. We're going to circle both directions. If you want a little bit more work into the shoulders, you could come onto the elbows to do this. Nice. And then wherever you are, other side, left hip and knee lift away from the earth, circle your left hip and knee. Elbows could come down or hands could come under shoulders, and we'll circle into the hips. Lovely. We're going to carry on our journey with the hips. So from tabletop position, step your right foot between the hands, reach the arms into the air. This time we're going to take just a little twist. So both arms come into the air. This time left arm forwards, right arm behind. You're going to look towards your right arm behind you, whilst keeping nice and strong just through the legs. So low warrior with a twist. Come back to center, press the hands together. 2 options, we stay here. Second option, full low lunge, curl the left toes under, see if you can lift your left knee and balance here. Maybe a little balance with the arms, just hovering the arms away from the floor. Beautiful, it's a hard one, well done. Press the hands to frame the right foot, either tabletop or if you're energetic, plank position now. Step your right foot to meet the left, plank position or tabletop. Hug the tummy in, we're staying here wherever you are. 3, keep going, 2, you've got it. 1, lovely. Soften the knees down to the earth, release the toes and just take a few little rocks off the wrist. So forwards, backwards, side to side. Maybe sitting back if you need to, just to circle into the wrist. It can be a little wrist heavy sometimes with the down dogs and the 3-legged dog. So feel free just to give the wrist a little break. Nice. But we're going to keep going. So press the hands under the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. Step your left foot forwards, back into a low warrior. Reach those arms into the air. Lengthen through the spine. Lift the fingertips nice and long. Right arm forwards, left arm behind. Look to your left-hand side. Pause here, take a breath in. We're twisting to look to the left. Breathing out. Bring the palms back to center. 2 options, we stay here or full low lunge other side. Curl right toes under, lift the right knee, see if you can balance here. Maybe a little hover of the arms. Lovely. Press the hands to frame left foot, tabletop or step left foot to meet right, plank position. Wherever you are, stay strong. Press the hands to the earth, press the feet to the earth, and look to the top of the mat. Hug the tummy in, soften the knees down, uncurl the toes, come onto your belly, bend those elbows. And we're going to come into a little mini cobra. Elbows, wrists, and hands under shoulders. Lift the head and neck, arch the back, look to the top of the mat. Press the belly down, press the knees down, press the feet down. And if the back is happy, press the hands into the earth, leave the elbows, peel the elbows away from the floor and lift up through the head and the neck. So full cobra if we wish. Pause, soften the belly, release the hands completely. Downward facing dog, press the hands down and start to lift the hips to the back of the mat and lengthen through the back of the legs. That's releasing down dog, bending one knee, bending the other. Okay. 3-legged dog, again, right leg comes into the air, press your left heel down to the earth. This time you are bending your right knee and looking underneath your right armpit. So we're really opening up through the right hip here. Step your right foot between your hands, all the way to the top of the mat, warrior 1, reach those arms into the air. That little twist that we did in our low lunge, we're going to do it standing. We've got right leg forwards, left leg behind, and you're reaching your left arm forwards and your right arm behind. Now your back knee can bend to do this. So you may want to bend both knees, come a little bit closer towards the earth. We're looking to the right-hand side. Lovely. When you're ready, bring the palms to center, press your left heel down, open your right arm forwards, left arm behind, warrior 2. Warrior 2, lovely. In your warrior pose here, soften the shoulders and find your gaze to the top of the mat. So really find your focus here. No other distractions, nothing else that you need to do. Just focus in on your breath and this shape. Draw the palms together and come and rotate to your left and right foot to face the corners of the mat. We're going to open up through the hips here. Both big toes to face the corner of the mat. Bend into the knees. This is goddess pose. Find your goddess pose here. In goddess pose, try not to draw the belly and the shoulders forwards. We hug the tummy in, lengthen through the back and stay strong through the upper body. Options with the arms, we could cactus here, or we could draw the arms back into that Kali Mudra above the head. Your choice. We're holding here though for 3 more breaths. Taking a breath in. Staying strong, finding that energy, finding that strength, finding the fire. Keep breathing. 1 more breath. End of the next breath, draw the palms in towards the chest, lengthen through the legs, point the big toes forward, forward fold, reach the fingertips towards the earth, let the head and neck relax. And take a little sway from the right leg to the left leg. So soften into the knees and take a little sway right to left. On your right foot to the top of the mat, walk your hands to frame your right foot, low lunge again. Either left knee is lifted or left knee softens. Transition to the top of the mat, come back into that lunge position. Two options. Knee comes down, we come into tabletop, or we step right foot to meet left, plank position, your choice. If you're in that plank position, this time, see if you can draw your right knee to your right elbow, and then left knee to left elbow. You can do this in tabletop as well. So if you're in tabletop, right knee to right elbow, left knee to left elbow. Nice, I won't keep you here too much longer. One more on each side. Soften the knees down, uncurl the toes. I need a rest. Child's pose. So draw the big toes together, sink the hips back, or if you want to come off the knees, just take a little moment to the back of the mat. And again, circle the wrists if that feels okay. Feel free just to take a moment to come off knees, come off wrists, anything that you need to do. Really nice. Mind your breath again. Ooh, well done. Hopefully you've warmed up. I am. We're going to come back into tabletop position and back into a downward facing dog and three-legged dog. So curl the toes under, lift the hips high, lengthen through the back of the legs. Your left leg comes into the air. Press your right heel down to the earth. Bend your left knee, look underneath your left armpit. Open up through your left hip as much as you can. Step your left foot forwards between the hands, reach the arms into the air. We're coming into a warrior pose standing, warrior one standing. Warrior one with a twist, right arm forwards, left arm behind, look to the back of the mat and open up through the shoulders. Now your right knee can bend here, so the right knee can soften, come closer to the earth. Pause. Draw the palms together, opening up now, press your right heel down, open up warrior two, left arm forwards, right arm behind, look to the top of the mat. Find that focus here again. Your right big toe is facing the corner of the mat, or your right foot is parallel to the mat. Two options. Either rotate your right foot open or parallel to the mat. Softness through the shoulders, but strong with the arms. Warrior two. Take a breath in, take a breath out. Goddess pose, draw the palms together, rotate both big toes to face the corner of the mat, open up those hips, bend the knees, and find that goddess pose. We sink the knees down and we lengthen through the spine, tuck the belly in, tuck the pelvis in, and lift up. This time, see if you can sink that little bit deeper, bending the knees, holding. And if you want to go even further, see if you can pulse the knees just gently here. Nice, feeling it on the thighs, little bit of work, well done. Option with the arms, calé, calé, or center of the chest. Keep the bounces going. One more. You'll thank me tomorrow. Lengthen through those legs. Bring the big toes together. Reach the fingertips to the earth. Soften the hands. Come all the way into that forward fold. And take a little sway right to left. Let go of any tension in the upper body. Transitioning here, bring your left foot to face the top of the mat, 12 o'clock. Rotate and walk the hands to frame your left foot. Right leg either lifts, so right knee comes down, low lunge, your choice. Back knee can lift, back knee can come down. Look to the top of the mat. Final plank or tabletop. Either step left foot to meet the right, into plank, or come into tabletop. In your tabletop or plank, hold here. One more breath. Full breath in. Full breath out. Soften the knees down, uncurl the toes, come off the knees, sit at the back of the mat, hands pressing down to the earth. We're going to reach the hands in front of us and soften the head and the neck. If sitting cross-legged isn't comfortable, just sit in any way that is. If you want to open the legs, feel free. Just come and soften and melt in towards the earth. Walk the hands away from you, round through the back. Just take an upper back stretch here. Extra stretch on the shoulders, press just the fingertips down and lift the palms and the elbows away from the floor. Extra little stretch into the shoulders. Drop the head between the elbows, so relax that head and neck. And then when you're ready, walk the hands back in towards you. We're going to do pigeon pose. So you might want just one cushion for this. Press your hands to the floor, start in a tabletop position. From tabletop, Guide your right knee to your right elbow and lengthen your left leg to the back of the mat. So make sure you've got a bit of room for your left leg to come down. So in our pigeon pose here, we have a couple of options. You may want to pad underneath your left knee, the back knee. We could stay here, right hip connecting towards the right heel. We could pad underneath the right hip. Or if you'd like to come a little bit further with the hip, the full pose is to start to guide that right heel away from the right hip. So we walk that right heel just away from the right hip and we come into more of an L shape with that right leg. Now the tendency if you're here is to sort of sink back into it, which isn't the full pose. You want to keep those hips facing forwards. That's where the challenge comes. So it's just an option, but that is that full lion pigeon pose. Yeah. So option to be here, or tuck the right heel underneath the right hip. You're still going to start to open up through the hip here. Okay, whatever option with the leg, fold the body forwards, let the head and neck come down and soften and melt into the chest. You can stack underneath the fists, take a block, cushion, anything for your head here. And feel free to take a little bit of movement, so maybe a little rock from side to side if it feels okay on the hips. We don't always have to stay still here. Okay. 2 more breaths. Starting to find a little bit more softness into the belly, softness into the shoulders. Press the hands into the earth, into your mat. Guide yourself up. Before you come out of this, we're going to do just a little variation and take a dolphin pose. Dolphin pose is where we bend that back knee and we take our right hand to see if we can touch the left heel or left toes. We did this a few weeks ago, I think. It's a little bit of a challenge. It can be a bit much on that back knee, I know, but see if you can reach even towards your trouser leg, the heel. Doesn't matter if you can't get there. We're looking towards the right hand side. Nice. And if you fall over, it's fine, as long as you're okay, obviously. Nice, well done. Really look towards the right hand side. Takes quite a bit of rotation in the upper body as well to do that, but just an option. That is dolphin pose. Release the leg if you've managed to catch it, don't worry if not. Guide your right knee underneath your right hip. Great, and then curl the toes under, downward facing dog, and give yourself a little walk out here. After pigeon pose, you tend to want to bring those legs back into neutral rather than lots of rotation. So just take a little bit of neutral movement with the hips here. Nice. Soften the knees down to the earth. Pigeon pose other side. It doesn't need to look the same. We start by guiding our left knee towards our left elbow and we slide our right leg to the end of the mat. So that left hip sinks towards the left heel. And again, we can stay here, one option. Second option, if you want to just try the full pose, we start to heel toe the left foot away from the left hip and we start to sink down to the floor. So again, if you're trying this, try not to roll and sit on the left hip bone because we take away the stretch into the front of the thigh. You're sitting downwards, so the hip bones are really pressing down to the floor. Option to be here, or maybe just tuck in that left knee under left hip, pad underneath the knee, pad between hip and heel, and whatever variation with leg. Fold that body forward, support underneath head and neck if you wish. Maybe stacking, making one fist on top of the other. That tends to work quite nicely. Or a block for your forehead cushion. And keep thinking about the hip bones coming down to the floor. So once you fold forwards, try to resist the urge to sort of rock onto your left leg. Try and keep both hip bones just pointing down to the floor. That way we keep the stretch right into the front of the right hip as well. Breathe easy. One more breath here. The end of the next breath. Press the hands into the floor, into the earth, lift up through the head and the neck. Let's just bring ourselves back for a moment here. And guide your left knee underneath your left hip. So back into, oh, actually, we've not done, we want to dolphin on the other side. Yes, some people have remembered. Thank you. Well done, Jackie. So if you want to, bend the left knee and see if you can reach bend the right knee, reach your left hand towards the left heel, left toes. Yeah, so we're looking towards the left this time. So that's our variation, dolphin pose if we wish, sinking the hips down and then looking behind us. We could always catch onto the trouser leg, that's always an option. Nice, even if you don't reach for heel or toes, and you might find you can do it on one side and not the other. That's okay. Release the leg. Come off the knees completely. Come to the back of the mat. Sit in butterfly pose. Just lost the word then. Butterfly pose. Soles the feet together and just give the knees a little wave. So just release the hips here. We're then going to release the hips in neutral. So draw the knees together, have the hips and the knees in neutral, and then take a few little windscreen wipers just side to side with the hips. Yeah, lovely. Take a bit of movement with the head and the neck as well. So rotating from right to left, just looking over from the left to the right. Beautiful. Lengthen the legs when you're ready. So push the feet just gently to the back of the mat or front of the mat, wherever you are. And press the hands to the earth. Point your fingertips to face the toes and squeeze the shoulder blades together. Press the knees to the floor, press the heels to the floor and lift up through the head and neck. So staff pose here, finding some length just on the back of the legs, stretching out into those hamstrings, into the calf and feeling soft just into those shoulders. So we find that sense of pressing and rooting down, but also rising up. Soften the shoulders here. Draw your right knee in towards your chest. Come and cross your right leg over your left leg. We're going to take a twist from here. Left elbow tucks into the right knee. We're going to look over towards the right hand side of the body. Your right hand could press behind you, or we could interlace those hands together and look towards the right shoulder. We're hugging that right knee into the chest, left leg nice and long, left toes, left heel, press down to the earth, left knee presses down, and just release into that right hip. Find some space between the chest and the knee. The tendency here is to round down, so try to keep lifting up. Release your right leg, send it all the way to the end of the mat. Left side, hug your left knee into the chest. Cross your left leg over your right leg. This time it's the right elbow in towards the left knee, and we can drop our left hand maybe behind us, or maybe interlacing those fingers together. So it looks a little bit like that, just hugging the fingers together or the hands together is the other option. Yeah, if you don't want to drop the left hand behind you, you can just hug onto the hands. And we're pulling that knee into the chest to find a glute stretch back of the left hip, but keeping those shoulders soft and lifting up. So find that length through the spine rather than sinking down. Lift on up. Press down with your right knee, press down with your right heel, draw your right toes up to the sky. Breathe easy. Come back to center, release the right leg away from the left. Bend the knees, begin to unravel all the way down. Bring yourself into the middle of the mat if you can, but unravel all the way down. Press the feet down to the earth. In this position, come and cactus the arms. So we've got the fingertips pointing to the top of the mat. If the forearms are wavering a little bit in midair, you might want to pad or just pop a cushion on the back of the arm so you've got a bit of support for the shoulders. We're going to be here for a couple of poses. If this feels too much on the shoulders, feel free to open the arms instead. So we can either fan the arms like the wings of a bird, or we can take our little cactus arms or Calais cactus arms, sometimes called. Walk the feet in towards you, but keep the feet resting down to the floor. And drop the knees over to the left-hand side. We're twisting here through the back, but also finding that openness and stretch through the shoulders. So drop those knees over to the left. If it's comfortable, head and neck could look over to right. And two options with those arms, either cactus in the arms, or reaching the arms out to the side of the body, lengthening and spanning through those fingertips. And here we come back to drawing in that feminine energy, that goddess Kali. It's thought that she is responsible for destroying any bad habits, bad attachments, bad thoughts. But she's also known for fearlessness. So moving away from that sense of fear, perhaps in towards some of the things that challenge you or make you feel that sense of vulnerability. With each breath you take here, imagine drawing some of those qualities of her strength, protection, power in towards the center of the chest. Start to draw the knees to point up to the sky and drop them over now to the right hand side. Again, if your arms are comfortable where they are, feel free to keep them. This time maybe looking over to the left hand side while the knees drop to the right. If it's feeling too much on the shoulders, option to open the arms, stretching the elbows, or you could just drop the elbows slightly so that the elbows aren't quite so high. Is there anything that you are feeling fearful of at the moment? And can you leave that fear behind in this practice? We use our breath to allow us to perhaps release some of those fears. As we focus and concentrate on building strength, fire, energy. The end of your next breath, come and draw the knees to point up to the sky, hug the knees into the chest and just give yourself a little bit of a knee hug, maybe a little rock from side to side, perhaps even a little circle into the knees here. Nice, we're going to hug onto the right knee and send your left leg all the way down to the earth, pause in here. So hug your right knee to the chest, send your left leg nice and long. And just pause here. Take the hands onto the back of the right leg. Let's straighten up through the right leg, pointing the right toes up towards the sky. Knee doesn't need to be fully straight. Feel free to keep a bend in the knee, but start to find some sensation. Stretch the back of that right leg. And draw your right toes towards your head. So flex through the base of the foot here. And maybe use your hands just to take a little rock with the leg side to side, if that feels okay. Okay, bend your right knee. Take your right hand and tuck your right elbow, your right hand in towards your right knee. With your right hand, you're going to reach for your right big toe or your right ankle. and think about pointing your right foot into the air. Now you may find that again, you can start to straighten the leg. This is like that standing pose that we do, extended big toe pose, but lying down. You may find it doesn't feel comfortable or you can't quite access kind of holding onto the leg. Again, feel free just to use the bottom of your trouser leg to hold on to if you can't quite catch that big toe. Or feel free just to keep the knee bent and tuck your elbow in towards your right knee. You're still working to open up that right hip, even if you're not straightening through the right leg. Wherever you are, think about connecting the left hip down to the floor rather than rolling onto your right hip. So you may have noticed that you're starting to rock almost onto the right hip. Keep your lower back, left hip bone connected to the floor. That makes it a little bit more of a challenge into that right hip. So we're either in here, extended big toe pose, but lying, or a variation of dragonfly pose, lying. Bend your right knee. We're going to release the right leg completely and take a stretch with the arms above the head. So release the leg, reach the arms above the head, and just give yourself a full body stretch. Lengthen through the fingertips, lengthen through the toes. Hug your left knee into the chest. Take a moment to pause here. Keeping your right leg nice and long, press your left knee down to the earth. Before we do those two little options, we're going to stretch through the back of the left leg. Take the hands on the back of the left leg. Hold the weight of the left leg with your hands and lengthen your left leg into the air. If it's comfortable, your toes could draw towards your head, left toes drawing down. Point the sole of the foot up to the sky. Feel free to take a little wave here. Maybe a little rock and roll from side to side with that leg. And really try and soften into the upper body here. So trust that you're taking the weight with your arms. Okay. Two options. We either take lying down dragonfly, so that is bending the left knee. Left elbow tucks into the left knee, so the arm is on the inside of the leg. And we reach for the left big toe or left heel, keeping the knee tucked into the chest. So that is lying down dragonfly pose. Second option, if we're holding onto the big toe, see if we can straighten the left leg. So extended big toe pose, but again, lying down. Either option, your arm is on the inside of the left leg, so it makes it much harder if we're trying to grab the foot from the outside. So keep your hand on the inside of that left leg, either with the knee bent, elbow tucked in, or lengthening through that left leg and hugging onto that left big toe or left heel. End of the trouser leg works just as well. Try and keep the back, the right hip this time, connecting down to the floor rather than rocking onto the side of the body. Stay with it. Last few moments here. Your hard work is nearly done. Worked you hard for a Monday. Well done. Let's bend that left knee wherever you are. If it's bent or if it's straight, just hug it back into the chest. And let's hug both knees in. Circle both knees around. Give yourself a little release into the hips here. So hug both knees in. Circle those knees around. Okay, now it may be nice here just to roll onto the tummy, just to stretch through the front of the hips. So I'm going to give you two options to finish. One is to lengthen the legs, reach the arms above the head, take a full body stretch, first option. Second option is now to roll over onto your tummy and give yourself a little stretch into the front of the hips. So belly presses down, hips press down. We bend one leg, bend our right knee, and we reach our right hand towards our right big toe. So it may feel nice just to stretch into the front of the hips in this position to finish. We've done quite a lot through the thighs to strengthen the thighs. So give those thighs a little stretch, a little release. If you've done the right side, you could reach your left hand towards your left heel, left big toe, and just pull your left heel in towards you. Again, just stretching through the front of that left hip. Try and keep the knees down to the floor here. Release the legs wherever you are. And we'll come into relaxation from here. So feel free to do any of the stretches that you need, that the body's calling for. Otherwise, we've had a really energetic practice this evening. So do pop any layers on just to keep that warmth in, just to make sure that you don't stiffen up too much or feel too sore tomorrow. And we've done a few little releases through the shoulders already, but if you do want to stretch the shoulders a little bit more, you could just take a few moments to lie down and just take a few little waves, arms up, arms down, if you feel like your shoulders just still need a little bit of a stretch. And guide yourself onto your back, your belly, your side, whatever feels comfortable. But take this opportunity to really get yourself cozy. The temperature, certainly in the evenings, drops really quickly, even though it's been a little bit nicer in the day. So you still may want to feel the need to almost hibernate a little bit here. And as you're settling in here, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about the theory, the story behind that goddess Kali that we've worked with this evening. So Kali, our goddess, represents nurturing, feminine energy. She also represents change, the ability to accept change, navigate changes, and help those around us also navigate change. She represents devotion, power, and strength. And within the body, this feminine energy is thought to reside in us, providing us with courage when we need it, and that natural instinct to help not only ourselves, but others around. We're going to come back to our breath here now. And if it feels comfortable for you, we're going to start to take more of an emphasis on our exhale. And we're going to do this for 5 breaths. So when you're ready, taking a breath in through the nose. On your exhale, nice long breath, you're going to emphasize that exhale. Almost like you're breathing out fire energy. If it's comfortable to do that breath for you, take another 4 like this. If for any reason it isn't, feel free just to breathe easy. Let go of any tension here in your jaw, your face, and your throat. And come back just to your normal breaths. Let the eyes close. Let the shoulders soften. Let the belly, hips, knees, ankles, toes completely soften. Leave behind here any unwanted, negative energy, feelings, or doubts. The mudra we've worked with today, that Kali mudra, represents slaying or cutting of any of those doubts, cutting them down, paving the way for change, for new ways of working and being. Back to your intention. If you set one earlier in this practice, something you would like to draw in or focus on this month, this week. Begin to draw some awareness back into your surroundings, your toes, your fingertips. Making some very subtle movements here. A circle of the ankles, circle of the wrists. Roll onto the side of the body and take a moment here. Now to press your hands into the earth when you're ready and guide yourself into an upright position. Feel free to stay on your side for a little bit longer if that's what your body needs. It's okay, just to listen in. We're going to finish back in that mudra, so palms together. First fingers up to the sky, pointing that first finger up, taking a breath in, finding your focus here. And on your exhale, come and draw the palms into the center of the chest, all of your wonder, strength, beauty. And come and bow to you and to us all. Thank you, my lovely goddesses. Thank you for joining me this evening. Have a wonderful rest of the